All right, so we're throwing down a little brown sugar here by the Rolling Stones today, and we're faking it, but not really faking it. It's just that Keith Richards, if you don't know too much about him or his Telecasters, tends to play with 5 strings. The low string comes off. He open tunes a ton. So when I say faking it, that's kind of what I mean. We're going to fake it in the way that we're not open tuned, but we're going to kind of present the information in a way that sounds very much like what's going on. The other thing I'm going to say is we are in standard tuning, not open tune, but also just to 440 pitch. So all that stuff's pretty regular. And try to get in tight here with some of these shots. Most of the chord forms, there's not a lot of chord forms in the tune. And then hopefully I'll do a playthrough at the end or in the next video. But the main thing here to learn is there's so much of going between the 1 chord and the 4 chord in very many different ways, which is, of course, typical rock and roll. But that being said, the 1 and the 4 that I'm making reference of, we'll use the C chord to start with. So I'm at fret 5 or position 5, you can see that. The order of the notes for a C chord would be 5, 1, 3, or better known as G, C, and E. And by the way, before I forget, it's a very interesting day to shoot video here today because it's super hot, so I have the fan on, which is already noisy. And then there apparently is some construction going on at my neighbor's house. Sounds like they're coming through the walls a little bit here. So I apologize for any distractions that may cause. All that being said, let's get started. So once again, the C is a second inversion, 5, 1, 3. And the 4 chord in that key would be F, if we were in C, would be F. And that's a first inversion, so 3, 5, 1. So that's what we have to master. We have to have that under our fingers to be able to play this. In addition to that, we'll take this section at a time. So the intro is going to be that same motion, except we're going to add a bass note to the bottom, and so we're adding the low G. And so this low G is going to help us flesh out this second inversion G chord. And that G there is at fret 15. You can already hear that. So I'm just moving from the G, which is a regular G chord, and then a C chord, because that's the 4th G, with a G bass note. And then you'll do that same thing starting from a C chord going to an F chord, but both of those have a C bass. That we're about to come upon, that section happens 4 times, by the way, in the beginning. The intro that we're about to come upon really is the same hand formations, except the chord changes themselves will be slightly varied. So after you've done that 4 times, now we go to this, what would normally be, but he actually doesn't move all the voices in that chord. It ends up being section, so let me go over that. That's E flat to A flat, all pedaled over E flat. But remember, this first one, we're only moving so the top voice, or string 2, is left out of that one. It's also left out of that one, then it returns. So we don't have it. And that's the intro, or excuse me, not the intro, that's the kind of the hook, and that happens behind the sax solo all the way through it. We have some verses which are again, no B string activity for either one of these. Kind of throw it in once in a while if you'd like. Down to B flat. Back to C. Now we have an interesting part. Let me show you what that is. Just a G chord, but we're only using this G note and this D note as far as what we're fretting. All the center strings are open, so you will not have any fifth string, nor will you have any first string within this G chord. So those notes low to higher: G, D, G, and D. Just root 5, root 5. You can call it a power chord if you'd like. So I'm sliding in from B flat, open D, open G, down to the low G. 2, 3, 4. And we have that little lick. B flat, G, C, B flat. All the parts to the song, so in the next video we'll do a playthrough.